Hey guys, and welcome to Science. That is right, it looks like Minecraft, but it's actually science. That is correct, you're hearing me properly. Minecraft is science, at least for today it is. Because what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be going back into time, hearing some creepy monsters, okay, yeah, that's right. I'm going back into time, all the way back to the beginning of the Earth, right here in the Hadean era, and I'm going to be explaining some main points down through each one. Okay. So as we can see here, here's the Hadean era. Kind of made a small little Hadean Earth time period thingamabobber. And as you can see, you can't really sustain any life here, which you really couldn't here on Earth at first. Lava's everywhere because everything's kind of molten. It gets intense heat as things are colliding together, forming the Earth. And yeah. The environment here is kind of toxic. I'm kind of letting all this fumes and toxic air go out into the actual environment though, which probably isn't a good thing. But I think it would be okay. Eventually, this Hadean era kind of cooled down. Water started forming over the crust that formed after the lava kind of cooled off. It cooled off, left some stone and stuff. Water vapor kind of condensated and rained down onto the earth, making pools of water like this, which eventually formed the oceans and made the continents into little isolated areas. And as you can see, from this water brought life. Single-celled organisms, I kind of skipped that part because I can't really represent that in Minecraft. But single-celled organisms kind of grew from, it somehow formed from the elements in the water. It's something science is still trying to figure out how. And these little cells, which were called prokaryotes, which did not have a nucleus, kind of eventually grew and evolved into eukaryotes, which do have a nucleus. And those eukaryotes kind of split into two little groups. Well, multiple groups. There's so many groups that there's like impossible to count, but two major groups. One is like a plant cell, one is like an animal cell. And these cells kind of group together, forming these invertebrate animals and some other plant forms. But as we can see here, we have some jellyfish and stingrays, and I know, they did not exist way back when. But you know what? These are the ways I'm going to represent invertebrates. Okay? Jellyfish, as you can tell, really don't have a skeleton, so that's like a really good example for an invertebrate. Something similar that lived back then, because it's a cluster of cells. They kind of group together, forming a larger organism, and it does not have a vertebrae, and it kind of lives by feeding off of little plankton and other such organisms in the water. Stingrays here, they do have vertebrae, but you know what? There's a ancient animal called a trilobite, which is one of the more dominant invertebrates that lived back then, and they kind of look like stingrays. I'll probably put up a picture next to one of these guys showing you how similar they looked. But yeah, that's what I'm using to represent those little trilobites, stuff like that. As you can see, the Earth, the actual land areas, are not really livable yet. They have not been adapted to. Nothing has evolved to grow on these things until later on, which you'll see later. If I can get my guy to fly. You know, I'm just going to drop down. Hopefully I won't fall. There we go. Okay, I'm flying. And over here, we have a little bit later on. Okay, just ignore that crab. He's not supposed to be out of the water. I try to block off the water because crabs can climb, and they like to go like out of the water. I try to prevent that from happening. But basically, invertebrates, as you can see, have developed in the forms of fish, And these fish originally actually didn't have jaws, which is kind of kind of interesting. But eventually they did grow jaws, and they formed normal fish, sharks, things like that. No dolphins, because they are not fish. They are mammals. I hope you guys know that. If you guys don't, no offense, but you guys might want to go back to biology class. Go to Mr. Paulson's class. He's an awesome biology teacher. But as I was saying, you got like a lot more diversity here in the water now. You saw the old jellyfish. I would have put more stingrays, but they kind of went extinct after a while. You know, they didn't go extinct yet. The trilobites are still around, but I don't really have enough room. But yeah, so ignore the other animal sounds. Those are coming from other areas. So yeah, just kind of look at what you can see. Now, these invertebrates, they kind of formed other things as well. Not just the vertebrates evolved, but crustaceans have been created, which are these little crab guys. Of course, the crabs are crustaceans, so I'm just going to use them to represent the ancient crustaceans that existed. Somehow that crab climbed up here. You know what? Crab, you made me mad. I hope you enjoyed that. So, I'm glad I did not cause the mass extinction of crustaceans, because they still exist. Because they will come back later, which we have now. As you can see. So yeah. And over here, as you probably noticed earlier, why is there grass and why is there a hole in there? Ignore that hole. I did not mean to make that. There's grass here because plant life actually kind of spread it out into the continents, onto land. It was in the form of corals and seaweed at first underwater. Well, actually, corals are not plants. Pardon that. But yeah, it kind of formed seaweed and like life like that, and eventually, like all the algae and plant life kind of crept up onto some land, and it figured out, you know what, we can adapt to live on land, and that's kind of what happened here. Now I know that's grass, it's in Minecraft, but you know what? It's green, it looks like a plant, and I'm going to use it, because there's no other way I can really show a plant. Let's get down here. Eventually, life started forming on land as well, other than plant life. As you can see, the fishes are still here. The invertebrates they didn't go extinct. Like there's still some crustaceans in there, but a lot of the ancient invertebrates kind of died out. Now you can see this Komodo dragon here. What had actually happened was, what's the word I'm looking for? A fish basically. What is that? Oh, I know what that is. Ignore that like glitch or whatever that is, because that's coming from down below. It's coming up through the block some reason. But yeah. Anyways, like I was saying, a salamander kind of adapted onto land. It evolved from fishes, some weird fishes that kind of grew limbs eventually. And those salamanders further evolved and further adapted into reptiles, which is represented by this Komodo dragon. And now these reptiles are kind of dominating the land a little bit. Crustaceans are coming up onto land, becoming little bugs, which we call beetles. Crustaceans basically started the whole bug life on land. And eventually, in a really distant way, mammals did evolve like on land in a later form. And there were mammals that existed back when the dinosaurs were, which I'm going to go down here and show you. Also, ferns and other plants like that started adapting on land too. Just saying. Now, I have no way to represent dinosaurs, but I have these wyverns, like dragon things, and you know what? We can all agree that they're pretty much like dinosaurs, but with wings, and the fact that they are so much cooler. So, that's what I'm using for dinosaurs. And as you can see, I have other forms of reptiles in there too, like this alligator, or crocodile, or whatever you want to call it. I can't really tell. And trees started growing on land as well. Dinosaurs kind of dominate the earth. There are other mammals in there. Like there was a rat. I think he died. I'm not sure. Oh, no, there he is. There are rat-like mammals, kind of like shrews, little small things, very small, incredibly small. Like, not incredibly small, but like they were very small. They were not dominant whatsoever. They're a very small portion of life on land, which dinosaurs kind of dominated, as you can see. And now everybody knows what happens to the dinosaurs. At least you should. Well, actually, we don't really know for sure, but one thing we do know for sure is they obviously went extinct. Those guys are very loud. They obviously went extinct. The world was kind of launched into an ice age. There's a werewolf over here. Look at that thing. So during that ice age, mammals actually started developing. Birds were developed from dinosaurs, along with other forms of mammals. These birds kind of started diversifying. They got more popular in the world. There are more of them. While mammals, they kind of had different branches, different splits, different branches of evolution, species, and stuff like that. As you can see over here is an example of a modern day one, a bear. And through more extinctions, throughout more evolution and adaptations and things like that, we come down finally onto the modern day land, where we, of course, don't have these werewolves and skeletons and creepers. Those are Minecraft things. I have an idea. Let's put it on peaceful so those things aren't there anymore. Now we have the modern day type of living environments. Trees, grass, pigs, ducks. Yep, he knows what I was saying. He knows what I was saying. We have more pigs over here. We have different kinds of trees, water, sand. Everything is pretty much peaceful until humans started kind of ruining things, but let's not talk about that. So these are basically some of the major stages in Earth's creation. We got big ball of gas, like toxic environment, lava, don't want to go in this crap, it'll burn you up, kind of thing. And all the way down to the modern day world we have today. Of course, we have more stuff than what's in Minecraft, but it's a really good example of an environment, I think. Like, we have some cows over there, and some sheep. And over here, we even have some examples of differences among certain species. Like, over here, we have a black sheep. And over here, we have a white sheep. That's a great example of, like, maybe different things evolving or adapting in different ways and becoming different in very many and very, like, interesting ways sometimes. So that's the first part of this little video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you understand it, and I hope I did a good job explaining it. So yes, I'll go on to the next part in a little bit. And I just froze. Oh, there we go. Okay. Bye for now.